to These Are Good Days with LeeAnn Miller.
And Matt Barris.
Well, Matt, we waited all of spring, all of summer, and all of fall for you to be able to have those daggum Christmas lights turned on at the entrance, and they're off. They're not on. I pulled in your driveway. Your neighbor your neighbor is showing you up, first of all. Your neighbor.
I thought I was going to catch you. I thought I was going to catch you to say, you already said this.
Nope.
You already hassled me about it.
They're off. There are no Christmas tree lights on the little spruce trees at your front door.
You're right.
What happened?
Here's what happened.
Did they burn out?
No, I haven't put up the lights yet.
Wait,
I know, it's so close to
up.
Well, you know what I mean. I haven't gone out there and done it. I have a few more things.
Wait, don't you have to just plug them in?
Okay.
Aren't they?
You need to relax. Here's the thing. Have you seen the inside of my home? I am busy making Christmas magic for 3 children. I can't do it all. I have a full-time job. I have a podcast. You've been sick. I have to text you all day to make sure you're alive. Life has been busy.
It's been busy.
I suppose I can find an extension cord.
Yeah, we've waited. I've waited. We've waited all this time. It's December and no lights are on at the door.
Well, we'll get there.
Okay. Yeah.
It's here. This is
I mean,
true.
I'm so glad you let them up in the tree. They're coming. It's so handy.
Here's the truth. It's been a really nice fall.
Yeah,
so, we actually...
It feels like fall. It felt like
fall till
really
now.
Today. I mean, it was cold, but the sun was shining.
Yeah.
The grass is still green. I mean, it's
I know.
So strange.
We usually have the porch furniture put away by now.
Yeah.
It's still out.
Yeah, us too.
We usually pack it up in the shed, but it's still out.
Yeah.
We just haven't done our outside chores because it's been
crazy.
So nice.
Okay, listen, before we talk about our good days, we have to talk about my voice. I sound a little bit...
a little hoarse. Oh, but you know what? Your wheeze, laugh, cough is one of your most memorable qualities.
Yeah, and it stays pretty consistent even when I've been sick. So I have been... Lord, I've been into bed. I took to the bed.
I know.
I took to the bed on a Friday, and I did not really feel like myself until this morning.
Yeah.
And that was
you
3 or 4 days later.
At 8 o'clock, and you were like, I'm getting out of bed and getting a shower.
Yeah,
and I'm like, great. I don't know what
You're like, good. I really was.
It is time.
I was really, I had something, bronchial and a cold and so I still sound like that. In fact, as the podcast goes on, because I've been trying to rest my voice, I will probably start to, sound even more raspy.
You know what? A good thing that came out of this is you took to your Instagram and asked people for what are their remedies.
Yes.
You got some great feedback.
Yes.
One of mine that came up was the whiskey.
Yeah.
Last year around this time, you exposed me drinking whiskey while
we're doing the podcast.
Recording the podcast. And then one of the things is the Starbucks medicine ball, and you brought me one.
Yes, we're drinking it right now. I'm drinking mine and you're drinking yours. I mean,
we're not drinking one.
You're
we
drinking
have separate.
Yes, and it's delicious.
I don't want what you have.
I've never ever had it.
It's really
and at
good.
our Starbucks, they don't call it medicine ball anymore. But if you say medicine ball, it's like some peach mint, blah. But it's called something else. But they know what it is.
Okay.
And I think probably that's because medicine ball. I don't know where the name came from.
Well, I think it's one of those, restaurants have those secret menu things that go viral.
Probably,
and I think they just kind of figure out after a while what it is.
It's lemonade that they literally froth the lemonade. They put it in the steamer or frother. Like they make it the lemonade hot.
Yeah.
It's lemonade, peach tea, green mint tea, and I can't remember what else, but it actually is delicious. It's very citrusy.
Really
it's kind of citrusy and bright. One of my friends, when I shared the medicine ball on my Instagram stories, that it was a it was a remedy for someone. She said, that's just like giving yourself a hug. It doesn't really help you. But I would argue that a hug does help you.
Oh,
when you're
so
sick.
true.
Preach, right? Preach.
Well, you know what? They say that chicken soup doesn't do a whole lot for you, but here's what it is. You're hydrating yourself.
Yes,
it's something
it's
good. I think
warm.
the honey on your throat
It's
is
soothing
good.
on your throat. Yeah, there's honey in this too.
So
That's right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think hugs help when you're sick.
Listen, some of those, what do they call those? Like not old wives' tales. But
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Old
like that.
wives'
Yeah.
tales.
Well, it's old wives' tales, and it's also like just old fashioned remedies.
Yeah.
You know,
Some
like,
of them, like one of them, you know which one I tried before is when you stick an onion in your sock.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that?
No, but that was one of them somebody shared.
Yeah, I've done that.
They said that not just for respiratory, they said, anything.
You know what we got in our house since when we had our November 4th event, somebody brought the Bohemian Mama stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mallory
Yes.
got this. It looks like an oversized chapstick.
Yes, it's
of
what she
like
talked
menthol.
about. Yeah, and
And you rub it on your chest. It's like a big
she like it?
chapstick. She loves it.
did she put it also? Remember the lady that talked about that,
Like
and
putting
she
it
said
under
she
your
put
nose?
it under her
I don't
nose
think
and
she did that
loved
yet.
It.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Bohemian
We
Mama.
love that.
We're coming for you.
You know, a lot's happened since we've been together.
I feel like this is our
Our catch-up
like
episode.
this is like a catch-up episode, or like what's happening now.
I know, because we had
A couple
we
guests.
had a couple
Mhm.
guests. We had our live event, and I
Yes.
feel like it's been a while since it's just been us.
Yes,
So
yes,
we've had a lot going on.
yes. What's your good day?
Oh. Okay, here's my good day. I
Okay.
talked about this last time, and it happened this weekend. Is I was the conductor on the Polar Express.
I'm so
You know,
excited for
our
you.
friend Sarah Reith, who was an episode, or not in episode, on a few episodes ago as a guest, the psychologist, she is the executive director of a nonprofit, and it was a fundraiser. And she texted me a couple weeks before the event and said, my biggest Christmas wish would be is if you would be my conductor. And I was like, okay,
She
we're
knows
doing
what
it.
to do, doesn't she? That's
And you know what
Sarah.
her hook was? She was like, I don't know anyone else who can bring the Disney magic. And I was like,
Oh, that's
challenge
it.
accepted.
You did it, Sarah. You said
So-
the magic words.
She got me a costume.
It looked so
It
good.
was very good. And I went on Amazon and I got a special hole punch that
Okay.
was shaped like a star to
Yes,
punch
very
kids'
good,
tickets.
Very good.
And it was a great night. There
Yeah.
were 4 different loads, and it was at this historical society that owns an old train from the 1920s. And so the families got on the train. We had Miss Amy's Bakery there when they were done to
Oh,
decorate cookies and that kind of thing. And it was just such a fun night, and it was such a good day. And
So
my
good.
family got to come,
Yes, I saw.
which was so
Yeah,
awesome.
I saw
And
the
my
picture.
kids loved it. And you know what else is cool? Is my son's first grade class, they have a Polar Express day. And I talked to his teacher and I was like, hey, I have a costume. Would you want me to show up?
Oh, that's great.
So I'm going to go to my son's
Aw,
class
That's so great.
and punch their tickets on their Polar
Oh,
Express
that's so
day
great.
and read Polar Express
That's
to the
awesome.
first graders in costume.
That's awesome.
And he doesn't know.
He's
It's
gonna
a
love
surprise.
it. It's so him. He's
yeah,
gonna love it.
it was so fun.
I told you this, and I'll stand by it. Sometimes when we do these type things as parents, especially if we have little children, sometimes we do them in an effort for ourselves, like
Right.
for our own creativity, for our own just self.
Yeah.
Like
well, it's
for
something I'm
different.
passionate about.
Yeah,
I love that
different.
nonprofit.
Yeah. And the invisible, and I've already told you this
Mhm.
because when I saw the picture you shared on your Instagram, which is at Hey Matt Barris. You shared a picture of your family, and I could see in your kids' faces how like proud and excited they were. And I think it's important to point out to parents of young children that when you do these kind of things, thinking that you're doing it to fulfill like your creativity or
Yeah.
to help an organization or whatever, sometimes we overlook the fact of what we're modeling for our kids.
Absolutely.
So your kids are going to always remember that you were the conductor of the Polar Express. They were very proud of that. They were very excited. And I think what it does is it starts to pave a path in them
Mm-hmm.
that when an opportunity comes up that they're asked to do something, it gives them bravery, it gives them creativity, it gives them excitement.
Totally.
And it's just a good reminder. It's a good thing to do.
Totally.
And I saw it in that picture. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, those kids are proud.
Their faces were
They
beaming.
were
It was
so
a precious
cute,
picture.
adorable.
All right, tell me your good day.
My good day is recently I went to West Virginia. Our oldest son bought a house there.
Yeah.
A little house in the woods, cute little 4-bedroom, 2-bath house. Now, 4-bedroom, 2-bath house sounds like a big house. It is not a big house. It is a very cozy, small house. The bedrooms are very small, but they are doing exactly what they would like them to do. MG has a sewing room. Teddy works from home. He's a geologist, so his an office, and we just had such a good weekend. It was just us. I took MG to Jonas Brothers, and here's what I want to.
Your second Jonas Brothers of the
listen,
year.
I'm in my concert era, and listen. Here's what I want to say. Also, when your kids are adults and they have met their person or they have their person, the things that you do to build into that person are very worth it. I do not regret 1 cent that I spent on those tickets. We had amazing seats. I bought the tickets like 6 months ago. We had incredible seats. Like we had seats so close we could really see their facial expressions like for in real life. And she loved the Jonas Brothers when she was like from 12 to 16 or 12 to 15. And when they came up out of that smoke, I have a video. I actually showed it to you.
Yeah.
I have a video. She started screaming and crying like she was 12 again.
I love that.
And I will never forget it. I will never regret spending the money. I am getting, I'm 55.
Yep.
Where's the
Ding,
bell?
ding,
Where's
ding.
the bell? And I'm not usually out until 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Ooh, mama.
I mean, because it was an hour, and a half, it was almost an hour and a half away from their house.
Yeah.
But it was worth every single effort, every single penny, because I could just see how much she appreciated it and loved it and enjoyed it. And it was something that we could do together. And then we set up Teddy's office and, bought a desk on Facebook Marketplace. And it was just the epitome of what These Are Good Days is all about. It is the moments that we have with our people and with those that we love that might not seem extraordinary to others, but they really are. It's extraordinary.
I'm going to tell you I'm going to speak into your situation like you just did to mine. Here's the thing. When your parent people come around and your parent, and I can say this could act, I hope this doesn't.
You mean as
when you're an adult,
and your parents
and you have a parent, I hope this doesn't make you cry. Because I didn't witness this in your relationship with your parents very much.
Okay.
When your parents come to you and you're an adult and your parents serve you and your parents say, how can I treat you? How can I help you with this project?
Right.
That stuff to a parent might seem really small because
it seems normal.
You are, and when you're a grown up and you're like in your 40s and 50s and 60s and you have money to do things, or you know how to organize a kitchen, or you know how to set up an office, that's like second nature to you. But when you're the kid and you have your parent come and say, hey, I know you guys have been moving so much. What can I do to help? Or for us, we're in the season where it's, let me take the kids overnight. That's no big deal. Or I'll take the kids out to dinner. Or my mom's classic for either come over to dinner, or what's even like chef's kiss is when she'll say, I'm making dinner and I'll bring it over. Those little things build into your relationship with your adult children so much.
Right. Well, I got home and Teddy sent me a text it seemed like out of the blue. It was just like at 3:30 in the afternoon. It said, Mom, I just want to thank you so much for helping me set up my office. I love it. Yeah. I love working in there, and it just was so nice.
I love that.
And so that was my good day.
That's so
actually
awesome.
It was more than one day, but it was a good weekend. Yeah.
That's awesome. I do feel like we have a lot to catch up on, but I would say probably one of the biggest thing that's happened since we've last talked on the podcast is You have made waves in the
have,
social
yes.
media culinary community.
Yes, I have.
You have an Instagram reel that went viral, like in a matter of a day. It hit 1 million in like a day.
Yes.
By the end of the week, it was like in the 4s and the 5 millions.
Yeah, you're right.
Where is it now?
6.4 or 5 million. I'm not sure.
6.4 mil. Let's round down to 6.4.
I've never had anything do that on Instagram.
So if you don't know this, you can look at LeeAnn's Instagram, which is at LeeAnn Miller. She was cooking for, why don't you tell your own story? This is your story.
I was prepping for a live event at Walnut Creek Cheese and Market, which we love, and they sponsor this podcast, and I can't say enough great about them.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about their Christmas salsa before the end of this episode. It was so good. We were eating it before we started recording. And I was prepping for this live event, and my friend Berta was helping me that day, and I said, I should set up the tripod and just record this while I'm doing this, because when you're making the effort of doing it,
right,
well, you might as well at least, was that me doing that? I was accidentally you might as well be recording it. So I recorded me making snack mix. My sister-in-law, shout out Kathy, always makes her, for years has made her party mix. She calls them doodads, so I call them doodads because she calls them doodads. That's her recipe. And on the reel it says Aunt Kathy's doodads.
Mm-hmm.
She always for years has made them in a big Rubbermaid tub because she makes such an enormous batch. Now I'm telling you,
who is she making it for?
Okay, I'm telling you, she makes it for. She gives it to so many people. She gives it to people that work for them. She gives it to neighbors. She gives it to her children, her adult kids who have families. Like, she gives it to a lot of people, but she always has a huge tin in her kitchen. In fact, we have a picture of Teddy when he was like 2.
Aww.
That he had crawled over to the tin and was literally like almost inside the tin.
That's adorable.
Eating the doodads. So she's made it in this big Rubbermaid Tupperware, this big Rubbermaid store. It's a bin forever. And I just think it's genius because if you're making a huge batch, you don't have to put it in 2 separate bowls, and then some of the stuff doesn't get as much as the other stuff. And so I thought, well, I'm going to do that for the live event because it's something different.
Right.
And we're just going to record it. So we recorded it. And that night I was like, I'm just sitting here watching TV with Daryl on the couch. I'm just going to just put together a reel. Yeah. And I put together this reel and really I posted it in the evening.
Yeah.
And by the next late afternoon, it already had 1 million views.
That is crazy.
It's crazy.
What was it doing before you went to bed? I'm just curious.
I don't even remember.
Did you check in on it, or did you just kind of post it and forget about it?
Yeah, I just don't even remember.
Yeah.
But it grew faster than anything I'd have grow. But I thought, well, great.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because when you're doing something like that, you're like, oh, should I do this? Should I put it up? Should I not? I have no makeup on. I look like a slee stack from the land of the lost. And I'm like, I'm like, should I put this up? And it's just funny because I did not expect for that particular reel to do what it did.
Right.
And then I did not expect. I think there were 2 things about that reel that made it different. One, the huge tub.
Right.
People just were like, they were either saying this is the most iconic, genius thing in the world, or they were saying this woman isn't using food grade safe containers, and this is awful and disgusting, and look at the excess. One or the other.
Right.
So it's just funny because it feels weird.
Yeah. Totally.
So yeah, I had no idea it was going to do what it did, and then it started. Somebody put in the comments in the beginning because there's now I don't know how many thousands of comments, so I don't read all the comments obviously. But somebody in the beginning put, anytime I see somebody mixing something in an oversized tub or container like this, I power walk to the comments, and I thought that's kind of funny, like that's kind of strange, like why would they put that? And then
you figured out why.
Then I found out why because it was like. Everybody that had something negative to say about that kind of thing, it was like, I felt like they all came out for me.
Right.
It was the strangest thing.
Well, I think, so this is really what we're talking about today is the response to that.
Yeah.
because
right.
it was so strange and unique and
Yeah,
interesting.
It was the tub, and then I was so overwhelmed that week. I was so busy and so overwhelmed. I was on really the verge of tears, all that. You know that.
Yeah.
Like all that
Yeah.
week, I was so busy that I was on just the edge of tears.
Right.
So when it came time to empty the boxes, I didn't have anywhere to set the boxes. So I just started throwing the boxes.
Yeah.
Or every time I would empty one, I would just throw it. And it felt so good because I was so overwhelmed that I was like, I'm just heaving.
It was
this
like
box.
freeing.
It felt good. So I
Yeah.
think between the big tub and the throwing of the boxes, people were liking something about that,
Right.
or extremely hating it.
Well, I think when you do something like this, you bring out different things. And as an outside person, I obviously have a bias towards you because you're one of my best friends.
And we know each other.
But when I looked at it, I thought that's unique and that's really fun. And I thought you seemed like you were a very joyful person. But I also thought, I don't think I would do that because I don't need to make that much snack mix, but I'll watch.
Right.
And what's interesting is that what I don't understand is whatever emotion or thought that brings to someone's mind, whether it's positive, negative, neutral, somewhere in between. What I truly don't understand still is why do people feel the need to post their every thought on the internet?
Well,
I don't understand.
Well, why do they feel the need? And also, why do they feel they have the right? You know, when you enter onto a profile page, you are entering into somebody's space. You know, it's like their room or their house or their living room. Like you're entering into their space.
Right.
So why do people think they have the okay permission and the right to just say whatever they want to say to you?
Right.
And one thing that was bothering me, well, first of all, when the snarky, rude stuff started rolling in, I was like, yeah, who cares? Whatever. I'm not going to bother with this.
Right.
And then when it kept happening, there were things that were being said that were like, oh, no.
Well, and here's what I think from what we talked about is it's one thing to say, that's a lot of butter, or why are you mixing food in that? But then when it crosses to something, some of the comments that you got were, I hope you have good health insurance, or you must hate your family if you're feeding them that kind of stuff.
Or it's obvious you don't care or love your family if you're feeding them that crap.
Then it's
it's vomit emojis with cancer journey.
Right.
Hashtag cancer journey. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what?
Right.
So I started responding, and I started responding in a way that was very sincere, but very, and what I thought was healthy.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Cindy, I notice you don't follow me.
Right.
We've never DM'd.
Right.
We've never met in person.
Right.
I highly doubt that you would speak to me this way in person.
Right.
You know, be well, but if you don't, and make your snack mix any way you want to make it, but this is my kitchen.
Right.
Like, you know, and the more that I started responding that way, the more people started coming into my DM saying, I came to watch the snack mix in the tub. I stayed because of the way that you were responding to comments. And here's the thing. So what we've done is we've made some of these silent rules on the internet, like don't respond. Don't respond back. Let the haters hate. Ignore them. Don't read the responses.
Right.
Well, good luck with that.
Right.
Because some of them, obviously, when they're coming in like crazy, you can't read them all.
Right.
But some of them, if you get the alert at a certain time, you're seeing it.
Right.
Like you're going to look down and you're going to see it.
Right.
You're going to see it in the string of things. Right.
Right.
So when I started responding, I started feeling like, okay, not. You know how people say, you know, you kind of take your power back when you say to somebody, you don't have permission to talk to me that way.
Yeah, we've said that on this podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what happens is you start saying to yourself, this is my account.
Right.
This is my kitchen.
Right.
This is a family recipe. This is party mix for Pete's sake. you're going to
Right.
start telling me that I don't love my family because I feed them party mix. Like, how ridiculous have we
Right.
become?
Right.
And also, you do not have permission to act this way
Right.
on this account. So when I started doing that, then I had people starting to come in saying, why are you so defensive? You have a public account. You did this for people to see it. I mean, started doing this kind of thing with me. Like, I don't have the right to respond to my own
Right.
comment.
Right.
Like, are you serious?
Right.
So I started responding to that and basically saying, oh, no, you're wrong in this way.
Mm-hmm.
I do have the right to respond.
Right.
And I do have a say in what's commented.
Right.
Because people were saying, like, you can't tell people what. Yeah, I can, because this is my house.
Right.
This is my profile.
Right.
This is my
Right.
And as far as being defensive, well, okay, like, at what point do you just allow a bully to bully?
Exactly.
I mean, do you just be passive and go, okay, well, you know what? Just say I don't care, love my family. It's okay.
Right.
I do. No, I
Right.
think it's okay to call out bad behavior.
Right.
It's okay to say, you don't have to be mean back. Like, I'm not being mean back. Like when the girl
Right.
said, good luck with your trailer trash mix. I mean, trailer park trash mix or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, one, I have friends who live in a trailer park.
Right.
You know, don't do that.
Right.
Like, but I could have been very mean back.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so, and I was seeing that happen. I was seeing people coming into mean comments, being mean right back. No,
Right.
let's not do that.
Right.
You know, Cindy has a right to say, I think that she's using bioengineered products. She shouldn't be using that. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
You know, she has a right to say that, but I have a right to respond and say,
Right.
we're not going to talk like that to each other.
Right.
Well,
Well, I guess my question too is, when did you decide to go from the, hey, you don't know me and you don't love my family, to just saying naughty list, naughty list, naughty list, naughty list?
I had a friend, I was responding so diplomatically at first to several of the rude ones. And our friend Kat texted me and was like, you know what you should do? You should just start responding naughty list. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. So I started responding naughty list, and I actually started hoping for naughty comments so I could put naughty list with a Santa emoji, because it was making me cackle. Every time I'd put naughty lists, I would
You
cackle.
just laughed.
And then I started putting lyrics to Christmas songs. I started
so funny.
Somebody would put good luck with your diabetes, and I put fa la 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 la. Merry Christmas, Missy. And then one I put jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Hey, have a great
And that's it.
Have a great Christmas.
So was that after you kind of got tired of being diplomatic and writing out thoughtful, long things?
I was like, because those comments that were diplomatic were getting so many likes by people.
Right.
I had a feeling people were seeing how I felt.
Right.
And then it was like, I don't need to keep up
people
with that.
know.
And I also don't need to keep responding to every to every hate comment.
Right.
You know, another thing that people loved commenting was, oh, she's making an easy fun snack, but she's spent $170. You know,
Right.
Have you seen the cost of cereal and butter and just we're ranting about the prices? And I thought, you know, it is my right again to spend money, my money, or to make things that I want to make.
Right.
And you don't have to do it. I mean,
so what do you think it is about us that why do you think we are so emboldened on the internet?
Oh, because I think the answer is easy. And this is really what I believe. I think this is part of it. Obviously, part of it is that person's story. You know, who that person is. That's part of it.
The other person behind the screen.
Yeah, the person saying all it.
Like either they have something from their past, they have a trigger from something.
They're bitter, they're resentful, they're unhappy, they're jealous, they're whatever. You know, they have something happen.
They don't like butter.
But I really think a big part of it is when we are disconnected when we don't have a relationship, when someone doesn't know me, the people
Right.
that know me, you should have read some of the stuff that people who know me were commenting back because they were getting so upset by the comments because they know me.
Right.
So the people that were saying the rude things or the disrespectful things or the unkind things were people I'd never met. They don't follow me, which I find fascinating. Wow, you really are doing that. You don't even follow me. You don't even know
this
me.
is the only thing you've ever seen about me, and you're making these judgments.
This is the only interaction. Well, guess what? I want a boundary with you,
right,
sister.
And sometimes you ended up blocking.
Oh yeah,
some
I
people.
probably blocked a dozen people over the last week and a half or so.
Yeah.
But I think people, when they don't know you, when they aren't invested in you, when they have there's not even a risk for them.
Right.
Like if you give me, it's what John Acuff said, which I shared. John Acuff's wife said to him, people who criticize you who don't know you, their criticism has no value.
Right.
Because criticism without any kind of investment in your life, without knowing you,
right,
it means nothing.
Right. Right.
You know, so if people who don't know me are saying things like, this one lady said, well, it's very obvious you're a very angry person. And I was like, well, you actually don't know me at all. Like, you don't know me. Like, you looked at one reel, said something nasty. I kindly defended myself. And you're saying that I'm an angry person.
Right.
How weird. So, but I think because she doesn't know me, it's very easy for her to say whatever she wants.
Totally.
And from whatever lens she wants.
Totally.
Because she's operating from her own lens, from her own experience and her own people.
Right.
So I think when we are not connected and we don't know someone, it makes it so easy just to spout off three sentences that feel good in the moment for whatever reason.
Right.
But I think when I say feel good, I mean feel good from that person's perspective.
Right.
Because I don't think that's good at all.
They ultimately feel good.
Right.
I think, how true is this for us in real life? Because I think, we're so quick in real life, even in face-to-face relationships, when we don't take the time to get to know someone when they're in our real life. When we don't take that time, and I in particular can think about places in work environments, even in church environments. If you volunteer at a nonprofit, when you're in any group of people where you have different roles and there's different people that you interact with, I think so often it's easy to take one thing that you've seen from somebody, just one snapshot of a conversation or a response or a day, and make a snap judgment about them.
And make it their
and
whole
then make that
persona.
who they are.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think, to be honest with you, that's something that I have struggled with in leadership. Is there have been times where I've thought, man, you don't know me at all. If that's what you really think about me, or if that's how you really think things are, then you really must not know me, and you must not care for me or be invested in me at all if that's what you think. And I think that goes for things like gossip. If you choose to talk about someone in a certain way, I want to look at someone and say, man, you don't really have any compassion or empathy for them, or you must not know them at all. Or, that's not them. What you just said doesn't represent them at all. Right.
I also think that when we do that, like when we make a judgment about somebody based off one experience, it's also coming from our own lens.
100%.
Like we have our own insecurities. We have our own missteps. We have our own blind spots. So then we go, oh, well, that person must be
right.
Because of our own experiences.
Absolutely.
And so that's why it's so important. We talk about counseling all the time, but that's why it's so important to pursue your own health, so that when you do have one experience that might not be great, you can say to yourself, my hope is that that's not how that person handles it all the time. My hope is that, because I have heard this about them. But so my hope is that my experience will be different, going forward.
Yeah. And you know what my therapist said? I don't know if I've said this here before or not, but we often think that when people say things about that it really is all about us.
Yeah.
We really
Right.
think it's
We
all
do.
about us.
It's true.
But at the end of the day, she'll say, human nature, it's really selfish. Like
Yeah.
our human
People aren't thinking
so
about
their
you that much.
responses,
Yeah.
even though it's coming at you, it's not about you.
It's
like
more about them.
it's more about
how
them.
they're feeling.
And
yeah.
so she'll say
really good.
things like, Matt, it really isn't about you. And she doesn't mean that in a like
Bad
that I'm
way.
being
Yeah,
prideful
yeah.
way. She'll say like maybe they're having a bad day.
Right.
Maybe they
Right.
had, there's a
Right.
million other factors
Right.
that really have nothing to
Right.
do with you or your Chex Mix or your reel or what you
Right,
said in a
right.
meeting. It's really not
100%.
about you.
100%. A nail technician or esthetician came in that was like a nail tech hair person and said some just things that weren't nice. And under that comment, there's like 314 comments because people were so mad. I mean, people were so mad that she was saying what I was doing is unhealthy, and she does nails with chemicals and da 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 da. They were saying basically like what the irony, they were fussing.
Right.
And after about 200 comments, I went into the comments and I said, hey, I can't remember what her name was now, Connie, I think. I just want to let you know that I have respect for your trade. Like it is hard work. Being a hair designer, stylist, and nail tech is hard. It's hard work, and I respect it. And in the same breath, I'm asking for you to respect what I do.
Yeah.
So, I think that we can handle things like this differently. But here's something else I wanted to say when we talked about this is often we don't say the things that we're thinking that are good. So we'll see a reel, we'll see a TikTok, we'll see a Facebook post, and we'll go, oh, how sweet. That's so kind. Or, oh, that's so beautifully written. Or, oh, wow, I love this person inspires me. But we don't say anything.
Right.
I just want to tell you, say something.
Right.
I would make it a goal. Like if you are someone who consumes social media, if you scroll 30 minutes a day, let's say you scroll 30. Actually, I thought about this today because I knew what we were going to be talking about. And I thought, I should set a timer for myself of when I'm scrolling. I should set a 15-minute timer. And when that timer goes off, I should set another 15-minute timer and spend that time going to accounts who I love, who are working and providing content that serves me and I learned from and I'm inspired by. And I should go comment the positive things that they have built into my life by me being part of their social media community, because that is so important. My community, like I just couldn't get over how people just came in and were like, but I mean, so many of them were like, don't you dare talk to LeeAnn like that. And I think what can happen is we think that people don't need to hear it. We think that people like, oh, they're doing great. They're doing great, and they're like on top of the mountain, and they don't need to hear it. Yeah. When the truth is, people always need to hear it.
Oh,
people
absolutely.
always like encouragement is in short supply.
Right.
It's not like people lay their head down on the pillow at night and say, I don't look over at Dee and say, oh my word, I got so much encouragement today. It was just exhausting how much encouragement.
Exactly.
I think if I had I don't know if we're doing parting shots yet, but if I had one, the parting shot would be, don't hesitate to speak life and love and encouragement into people that you feel encouraged by.
Absolutely. And I think too, one of the reasons why this happens, I think, is the internet has emboldened us. The internet has given us permission to be nasty.
Oh,
and
somehow,
so
I don't know. But hasn't it gotten worse in the last
worse.
5 years?
But it's easy to be nasty. But I'll say this, to your point, that also means it's just as easy to be encouraging.
Oh, for sure.
Similarly, I think it's harder to be nasty in person. We're much less likely to be nasty in person, but I also think it's harder to be encouraging in person too.
Yes.
You know,
would
I
agree with
actually
that.
had this
Yes.
experience. This popped into my mind where I walked into a teacher's classroom. It was either early this week or last week. And I don't even know how this came to be, but she said, class, I want to tell, do you guys know who this is? She introduced me to her class. Some of them knew me, some of them didn't, because I'm not like a forward facing teacher anymore. And she said, I need to tell you guys something about Mr. Barris. And I had no idea what she was going to say. And she said, he is one of the most consistent and joyful people that I've ever met. You know, when I see Mr. Barris, he might have a bad day, but he doesn't make me feel like
he's having a bad day.
He's having a bad day. He is full of joy, and he always greets me and talks to me. And she said, that's one thing I love about Mr. Barris. And they went on with it was a minute.
Yeah. How did that make you feel?
Well, I'm still talking about it.
Yeah. Right.
You know, and so that takes courage and vulnerability. And I guess my parting shot would be, whether it's the internet, whether it's
in person,
have, you know, if that feels uncomfortable or awkward to you to do in person, start on the internet.
Right.
Start on Facebook or Instagram.
100%.
If you feel really confident about that and you're like, oh, I have really good relationships at work or in my family or with my spouse or with my kids, speak life into them, because that matters.
We decided today that when people were naughty, we were, and we're going to title this podcast this, we decided we were going to say, don't be a doodad.
Yeah, don't be a doodad, man.
Don't be a doodad.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
don't be a doodad.
Don't be a doodad.
Don't do that, doodad. Don't
be a doodad. Okay, before we go, we have to say we tried the Christmas salsa.
Yes.
I absolutely love it. It has a little bit of sweetness because it has cranberry in it.
Yes.
So it has a little tinge of sweetness to it that's a little, I'm not going to say fruity, but it's a little sweet. And it reminds me of the raspberry jalapeno jam that you put on top of the cream cheese. It kind of has a little hint of that kind of sweetness flavor.
Yeah.
It is so good. It has a little bit of heat and a little bit of sweet.
Yeah. So this is Walnut Creek Foods chunky Christmas salsa.
It's so good.
And it's only produced around Christmas.
Well, right now I think it's only made around Christmas time, but I do think it's going to become a permanent product, but right now it's there. And so if you want to try it, I encourage you to go. You can go to their website. You can order it.
That. I read the ingredients before we cracked it open. It has cranberries and jalapenos in it, and that combination is so unique and so good. So yeah, Walnut Creek Foods.
Yeah, we love you.
You know,
Thank you.
We are so thankful for them for being our sponsors.
Yes. They're part of the family, really.
They really are. And you know what? I don't think it's ironic that they have Chex Mix on sale this week. Did you notice that today?
No.
It's in their stories. Chex Mix is on sale this week at Walnut Creek Cheese in Walnut Creek, Ohio.
Walnut Creek, Ohio, and Amish country. That's so great.
Isn't it ironic? Awesome. Hey, well, thanks for sharing your story. And you know what, LeeAnn?
Yes.
I think it's great that your reel went viral. I think it's so good.
Thanks.
I think it can be so encouraging and so great.
I have to
kudos to you.
Shout out to my nephew Brody, who you know, who is the sweetest kid.
Yeah.
He's not a kid anymore. He's in his 30s, but he called me 2 days after I posted that reel and said, Aunt LeeAnn. And I said, what? He said, what do you mean, what? And he was so excited.
Yeah.
And he celebrated with me and congratulated me and was like giving me all these ideas and like you, wanting me to make more in the big tub.
I want us to I'm going to be in it with you. We're going to make mashed potatoes in that tub.
What if we made mashed potatoes with brown butter and delivered them somewhere? Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be hilarious.
All
right.
Yep.
Well, I love it.
Yep.
Hey, well, thanks for joining us in this conversation about the doodads. And our parting shot, don't be a doodad. Don't do it. Hey, well, whether ordinary or extraordinary, we hope you see that these are good days.